my gosh. Ah. Excuse me. I just got done eating my breakfast, so give me a second because I just realized I have all this stuff stuck in my teeth. Oh my god. Okay, Grand Rising. It's 7:15 a.m. I've been up since 4:30, admiring the moon in my window. um, it's beautiful. Looks great. I'm very excited for tomorrow, as it is a full moon, and I'm going to start the process of balancing my hormones. So, a conversation came up yesterday about sobriety, and I would like to talk about what that looks like for me lately. um, oh, but before we begin, check out my hair, y'all. I did the sock method again. Okay, I did it earlier in the day so that I had it dried better. Okay, one, it dried better. I also I did it in smaller sections. So the last time I did it, I had 40 locks, in case anybody wants to know. I have 40 locks on my head, okay? I did 8 groups of 5 the last time. This time I split it up into, get out of my face. This time I split it up into 10 groups of 4. All right, totally better than the last time. Oh my gosh, we just keep getting better. I love it. Oh my gosh. I'm anal about my hair. I really love my hair. I need to stop doing so many retwists though. I've gotten that one like 3, 4 times. Like it'll come up in the feed like you're not supposed to retwist your hair every week. You're like, was that you, God? So I have to get used to stop doing that. I've been very anal about like twisting, but it did thin out like this. But let's not forget that lady split my roots, so I do need to be careful because this one will thin out if I keep continuing to retwist every week. Okay, but you see, the other ones are doing well. They're fine. Just that one is specifically that one, and the other one on the other side is also like that. Just on these little ones right here. But anyways, enough about my hair. Okay, it looks great today. Okay, all right. Let's talk about sobriety. I know a lot of people in the community, the spiritual community, have moved towards sobriety, and more power to you, more power to me. But I happen to notice, because the hardest thing for me to ever get off of was the cigarettes. Okay. It's been over a month since I've had one. It's going on like 2 months now. When I first quit, it was like, 2 weeks of not smoking anything. Then I went and, like whenever I would hang out with a little girl, I'd smoke a couple cigarettes, 5 cigarettes here or there. Like I might see her twice in a week because that 2 week break was to begin the cutting of ties with her, right? So I would see her maybe once or twice a week versus, almost every day. She's over here, I'm over there, So as I'm cutting it down, I did go back to smoking cigarettes, but only when I was with her. Then I think she might have bought me a pack of cigarettes or something. I smoked that pack, and it was terrible. It was terrible. It tasted disgusting. It was on its way out, right? I bought a black and mild here and there. You know what I'm saying? But it's now been like almost 2 full months since I've smoked a cigarette, right? There's not a day that goes by that I do not think about smoking a cigarette. And before my neighbor moved out, I didn't even like they smoked really heavy. They were one of those types of people that their blinds were yellow because they smoked consistently all day, every day. Like it seemed to me like they never put a cigarette out, type shit. Like as soon as one's out, they're lighting another, which I can be that way too. But they were way different. And they would smoke so much that certain areas of my house would smell like smoke. So my bathroom smelled like smoke. All my towels smelled like smoke. You would come downstairs, and right by the front door and like right in that little area where the steps are, right when you get to the bottom of the steps, smelled like smoke. They moved out, so it doesn't smell like that. It smells much. It smells wonderful. My house smells wonderful. I don't smoke, so my house smells great. But that would make it even worse. Like the cravings would be even worse because it was like my house smelled as if I was smoking. So I would say that issue has subsided, but there still hasn't been a day where I haven't thought about a cigarette. It's exhausting. Like, I really want to smoke a cigarette, and most of that I think comes with just being bored. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of, bored. And that was what I used to do to pass the time. I go sit outside, take a look outside, smoke a cigarette, take a walk, smoke a cigarette. I mean, I've been smoking since I was like 14, 15 years old, So as that habit progressed and things like that, it just got, that's what I did to pass the time. Multitask, because I can smoke a cigarette and learn and read, and you know what I'm saying? When it comes to the marijuana, that's another one I miss a lot too. But it's never really been one of those things that I had long periods of time in my life where I wasn't smoking. Or more commonly, what my life really consisted of was it would take me like a whole week to smoke one joint. Okay, a joint isn't that big. It would take me like a whole week to smoke a joint. But because it was like every day, it never gave my body a chance to process it, right? So, going and I've had phases where I did more than that, definitely. Okay, I had a phase in life where I was smoking like a blunt a day. I had a phase in life where I was smoking a joint a day, 2 joints a day. I had a phase in life where I was only smoking on the weekend. I had a phase in life where I wasn't smoking at all. So we're back at that phase where I'm not smoking at all. And I can tell you, sometimes I do wish that I was smoking weed. I do, but it's again, it's more attached to like the boredom and coping with the boredom. It's not like I would. It's been a very long time since we did like what they say it does on the TV. You know what I'm saying? Like, my experience with marijuana isn't giggling and eating everything in the house. You know what I'm saying? It's been a very long time since it was ever that, right? So it's not like because I want a desired experience. No, it kind of just like, calms you down, relax you, relaxed. I struggle with that. Now, when it comes to the drinking is the thing I don't miss. I don't miss drinking because I was never really a drinker. And what's really funny is that everyone who was stalking me and in my bank account and stuff like that, you see that I go to a liquor store every day. That liquor store was a drive-through. When Aaron's dad and I met, he had said that he wanted to own a liquor store. And he's out in he was in the DMV. And I used to always wonder, that just seems like a weird aspiration. And that's when it occurred to me when I got there that on every corner is a liquor store. Their liquor stores are their corner stores, right? So out here in Ohio, we have drive-throughs. Those drive-throughs could be named anything. There's some that's named the beer frame. There's, like they might have like some kind of connotation. One is called the bottle shop. They have some kind of connotation to liquors, right? So the same thing could be said of the liquor store that I visited every day. I was not buying alcohol. I was buying Red Bull and cigarettes because I had a serious Red Bull addiction. Serious. Okay. So, I spent upwards of $200, $300 on Red Bull alone during the time that I was in Maryland. Like every single day, hitting there, spending $20. You know what I'm saying? and not all the time. So you know, I was mindful enough that sometimes I could get the cheaper one, but I wanted the $5. What is it? It's 20 ounce. I wanted a 20-ounce Red Bull. Okay, I wanted 4 of those a day. So that is actually what I was spending my money on. I wasn't drinking and driving. I was drinking and driving. I was drinking a lot of Red Bull. I haven't, like, that's one of the things that I think is a misconception. I haven't reformed from alcoholism. I was never an alcoholic. I drank a lot of Red Bull. I was a codependent drinker or a social drinker. So we go out, I'm going to drink with you. I had an instance when I was in therapy where I was drinking a lot by myself. That was when my daughter was 2. And even then, I would say I was getting drunk, but it wasn't like, I couldn't drink. It wasn't like I could drink. Like, I couldn't even drink like one of them little without getting drunk because I didn't drink a lot. You know, what some people constitute as an alcoholic is somebody that drinks a 5th. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't ever, I never had that level of tolerance for alcohol. Especially because when I would drink alcohol, I would get very angry. Didn't matter what color. I would get very angry if I got too drunk. And too drunk was like 3-4 shots. You know, no bottles. I couldn't drink a bottle. You know what I'm saying? I might have even told people I did, but I didn't. There's no way. There's no way. You know, and you try to be cool, and so you say certain things in front of people that may not necessarily hold truth to it. You just want to look good and cool. That's how it was when I was younger. In my early 20s, I would act like I had a large tolerance, but I didn't spend a lot of time with people, so they would never know, would they? You know, and so like I would go to family gatherings and have like 1 or 2 shots and be tipsy, and people would try to equate that to alcoholism when I literally just couldn't hold my liquor. I'm a lightweight when it comes to the liquor. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm obsessed. It looks so good. I'm sorry. Okay, so anyways, so I haven't become sober from alcohol because I wasn't really a drinker, and I wasn't drinking daily. The liquor store visits on my bank account were because that's the only establishments that had a drive-through were liquor stores, and you could get your cigarettes. So I didn't have to get out the car, because what I was doing at first was going to the gas station and I would buy my cigarettes by Aaron every day. This is what I was doing in Maryland. So you know, when I was living in Brandywine, I would get up. I would either clean the house. Sometimes I didn't clean the house, but I would either clean the house, get me and Aaron dressed, and he might eat breakfast, he might not. And we would get up, go out to the gas station on the corner. I would take him in the store, get a pizza, because they, you know, gas station pizza, get him some pizza, get him some bug juice, get some water, get some Red Bull, and like 2 packets of cigarettes, and leave. And drive around for like the entire day. And so then he was eating burgers and pizza. Like, that's all he was eating for several months. While I'm trying to function, right? And so I felt at some point that it was very tedious to take him out of the car, go into the store, get the stuff, and go. So one day I was driving and I happened to come across, a drive-through, and I actually passed it all the time, but I don't know why I didn't, but one day I finally decided I'm going to start using this drive-through. The drive-through is called Lighthouse Liquors. It was Asian people, right? And literally started using this after I did my spell work, all right? So after I did my spell work, I started using it, and he looks at my ID one day, and he goes, "Oh, that's a name of a priest in my home country." What? Okay. All right. I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. Thanks." So I went to them for a long time. Then when I started going to the chiropractor, there was a video where I was in the dark and I said I'd been doing chiropractor visits. They had a drive-through and they had a liquor store right on the corner of their location. So sometimes instead of, if I didn't have to go that way, because these were opposite directions. So the lighthouse was going, let's say the lighthouse was going east, the other one was going west. So if I was out west, I would go to that drive through, but they were liquor stores. And so everybody thought, oh, and especially because I'm spending money, honey. I'm spending money. All right. It's $10 for a pack of Newports in Maryland. All right. So I'm spending at least, and then if I'm getting Aaron something to drink, myself some Red Bull, I'm spending at least $40 to $50 at the liquor store. I know it looks like I was drinking liquor. It looks like I was drinking liquor daily. It looks like I was drinking gallons. You know, it was just cigarettes and Red Bull. So what has it been like? I haven't even, I've gone through all that. It's just to say I wasn't really a drinker, so I don't miss drinking. I've always been sober that way. But let's talk about the Red Bull real quick, because that one's the one. The Red Bull is the primary reason why I gained so much weight over the summer. Because like I said, it was just about this time last year when I stopped working out. And then I was drinking tons of Red Bull anyway. The working out was to maintain, and if I wasn't drinking Red Bull, I probably would have lost that little fupa that I was complaining about, right? I drank, especially when I got my food stamps, because when we first got food stamps, we had like a reserve of food stamps, like money. You know what I'm saying? So I had like $1,500 when I got my card, right? So it's very easy for me to go to the store, walk down to the Dollar General, get 2, 3, 20-ounce Red Bulls and drink those. The problem is those are 240 calories per serving, and one can is like what is that? That's 480 calories. And I was kind of living off of that. Like, I wasn't really eating a whole lot. I was living off of Red Bull. 480 calories a can. 53 grams of sugar per serving. That's 106 grams of sugar per can. I can say that the Red Bull is the main contributor to my weight gain. I can say that with full confidence. Now, I have times where I have a little sweet tooth. I'll eat some cookies. I'll eat some fucking cupcakes. I'll eat some shit. But I've always been that way, and I've always been able to maintain a certain size. It wasn't until the Red Bull, baby. Oh, my God. So getting off the Red Bull was hard. It was very hard. When I was when I first had when I first had Jeremiah, I was, I was 19 years old. I worked at Safe Light Auto Glass. Believe it or not, that birth brother I keep talking about that works at the bank and lives right down the street from my son, he also worked at Safe Light Auto Glass at the same time. Imagine that, right? But anyway, I worked at Safe Light Auto Glass, and this girl, she went missing for like a couple months. I'm like, damn, where'd she go? She just left. She was doing good. I don't know why she would have quit this job. You know what I'm saying? Back then, that was the job. You was making a lot of money back then, right? So she pops up back at work and says she was at rehab for Red Bull. I thought she was lying. Who the fuck? I know now. I understand now. I understand now. I was 19, now I'm 34. I totally get it. I totally understand why somebody would have to go to rehab to get off Red Bull. Oh my God. It was hard. I was having headaches. And then I went through a phase where I was drinking a lot of coffee too. You know what I'm saying? Like I was drinking Death Wish. Whoa. When I got off of Death Wish, okay, so first, before I even got off of Red Bull, I was drinking Death Wish coffee. You're really only supposed to drink 1 cup of that. I would drink like 3 cups. When I finally decided I'm not going to drink any more Death Wish coffee, bro, I almost died. I had the headache of I literally thought, oh my God, this is it. I literally thought this was it. I'm about to die. Like, my head was pounding in such a way, and that went on for like 2-3 days. Okay? Finally got off the death wish, and like that's what made me drink a little more Red Bull, because I needed to get to the same amount of caffeine that death wish was providing. So then I had to taper down off of that, right? I don't drink coffee. That was such a bad experience. It's rare that I drink coffee anymore. And I love me some coffee. I've been drinking coffee since I was 11. You know, I mean, full all the works. I'm drinking coffee, right? So, I haven't really drank a lot of coffee. I could say, you know, with full confidence, I've drank less than 10 cups since July of last year. So I feel like that's an improvement, because I was someone who was drinking coffee every day and Red Bull every day. Both of them. The fuck is wrong with you? I sleep well, okay, but I sleep short. And then I do have nights where I don't sleep well. Primarily, they are Aaron related. Like when Aaron sleeps with me, I do not sleep well. I try to tell him sometimes to, like, mommy needs to recharge her batteries and she can't recharge them if you're in her slot. Like, you know, you're in my plug. My bed is my plug, and you're in my plug when you sleep with me, and I can't. That doesn't work. He does not care. But when he sleeps with me, I don't sleep well, and I don't recharge. But I don't need a lot of sleep to recharge. If I could just get, like, you know, 5 hours, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Last night I went to bed at like 9. You know, woke up at 4:30. So that's definitely, you know, above and beyond for sleep. I feel good. You know, but I can get less, and as long as it's undisturbed, I'm raring to go. I feel like when I drank coffee, it made it worse. Like I didn't sleep well, you know, and that was probably, besides the cigarettes, the caffeine was probably the hardest thing to get off of. I had a Red Bull last month. One. I have been drinking Sprite all of a sudden. But ultimately, I only bought Sprite twice. I don't miss it. I don't miss the Red Bull. I don't miss the coffee. I don't miss alcohol, because I was never really a drinker anyway. But I definitely do miss some cigarettes. But I just wanted to, you know, talk about what that looked like for me. You know, I don't even really have any tips for you, because the way that I was brought into sobriety was by force. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I had money, I probably would have still been smoking, because, you know, it was kind of like an autopilot, right? I have money. Let me, it was very much an autopilot. Like, there were various distinct times where I can recall, like, I'm not going to smoke today. I'm done smoking. Today is not the day. And then Aaron would ask for something to drink or ask for a snack or something. I'd go through the drive-thru, order his stuff. I'm like, oh, and a pack of Newport 100. And then, like, drive off and be like, the fuck? I said I wasn't going to smoke today. And I'm not about to throw it away because I have it, right? Right? So some of it comes by force. And for some people, that's not an option. You know, I'm in a position right now where I don't have rent. I don't have, like, the normal bills that people would have. So because of that, it forced me, when I'm in poverty and have the option of remaining in poverty, it kept me from being able to go into autopilot. Like, if I would have gotten a job last year, or anything like that, I would be buying cigarettes. I would be buying weed. I would be buying the normal things that I use to cope with having an unhappy work life, having an unhappy social life. You know, those things fill in those gaps. And, you know, if you need any more information about what kind of gaps you're trying to fill, the video for that is called Coping Skills. In the Coping Skills video, I correlate, how these drugs or other addictions relate to the lack in the chakras. Okay, so all of my issues were very specific to the solar plexus chakra. Okay, And even though that wound hasn't really necessarily been healed completely, because I was forced into poverty, extreme poverty. See, there's a difference between, I was living in poverty when I had money. Now it's like extreme, but because of that, it forced me to have to be sober. It forced me to not smoke weed. It forced me to not smoke cigarettes. And ultimately, I mean, I feel better. Don't y'all remember all them videos of me coughing? I never really said somebody didn't want me to speak when I cough, because I was a heavy smoker. I was a heavy smoker. Logic can deduce that's not a spiritual thing completely. I mean, to a degree, it's a spiritual thing in the sense that I was smoking because I had a spiritual lack, right? But ultimately, it wasn't like, oh, I'm trying to speak on this, they don't want me to speak type shit. It definitely wasn't that. You know what I'm saying? I can take accountability for that. You don't see me coughing like that anymore. I breathe better. I don't really see a pro or con to the whole not smoking weed thing, because you do want to be clear-minded, you want to be sober, and I feel that the majority of my time spent was, you know what I'm saying? Like like I said, it took me a whole week to smoke a joint. Like the way y'all had this idea of me in your head about how I participate in drug use, it wasn't really that. I smoked. It took me a whole week to smoke a joint, and sometimes I would get so mad at myself because I actually spent a lot of money on it, and I wasn't even. I would throw away. Like a doobie, a roach that was like this big. That's still half a joint. That's not even a roach yet, right? Because do this twice. That's a long ass joint, ain't it? It's not really. I would throw it out. I had a cup where I would throw things, cigarettes, stuff like that. And one day I cleared that shit out, and I was throwing away whole joints essentially. You know what I'm saying? It took me a whole week. I wasn't really on drugs, so I don't really have a pro or con for stopping marijuana, because I wasn't someone who was really like blowing back like that. I wasn't really blowing back like that. So sometimes I do miss it just because of that. But ultimately, life's good. I question and I wonder, if I did get money on my hands, would I go back to doing one of those things? I think it just depends on the wholeness and how whole I feel at the time, perhaps. Because like I said, it definitely was like a autopilot type thing, So we'll see how it goes. I hope you all have a good day. This was a long ass conversation about a whole lot of nothing. Let me know if you like my hair, okay? I worked really hard on. No, I didn't. It was so easy. It's so easy. I love it. Like, it looks like the Bantu knots, okay? But it's. Have a good day. Have a good day.